name's Kayla Holhalter. I serve as pastor at Lutheran Church of Our Redeemer in Fort Morgan, Colorado. So the Fort Morgan community is very unique. It's population about 12,000 and huge German-Russian ancestry from immigrants back in the early 1900s. And but in the past, I guess since 2009, there's been an influx of African refugees and also immigrants from Mexico and Latin America and South America. And so it's definitely changed a lot of the elements of Fort Morgan. They're very white European, and then they've had this influx of people who don't look like. Yeah, when I first, so I've been there now 22 months, and within my first month, there was actually hate crimes towards the refugee community. Someone had shot BB guns at, I think there was 15 cars that all their windows had been shot out. And written on cars also, we hate you, go back to where you came from. And that doesn't represent the entire community, but that was my first initial experience of how Fort Morgan treated people who are outsiders. And so that was, that's something, but then there's also like some amazing things going on. We have, it's an organization called One Morgan County, which is a non-profit organization that works specifically with immigrants and refugees to try to welcome them in and hear their stories, and to help them become more settled into the community. And so there's some amazing people that are within that organization that are trying to do that, but there's definitely some resistance to it. So yeah, so we have low-income housing in apartments, and so it's known as the refugee apartments, and it's on the other side of the railroad tracks. And if you live on the other side of the railroad tracks, you live in low income, and so that's what it's known as in town. And so, but specifically, these apartments are mainly refugee housing, and so it's kind of and so that's how the community sees it. But it's a beautiful thing when you drive past, because you see kids of all ages playing and going to different houses and sharing food, and to me, that's what the body of Christ looks like. What these refugees, how they share with their families and within their community in this low-income housing area, like that's what the body of Christ looks like. Their doors are always open to to anyone, and they share what they have, and they can never imagine having leftovers, or they can never imagine throwing away any of their food. They openly share that. So if they have an abundance of rice, they'll take that to their neighbor and share with them. And so that's very different from the culture that we're used to. And so that's definitely something that I've witnessed, is although it's bad to be on the other side of those tracks, it's also a beautiful thing to see that. So as a pastor, we get a lot of people that come into the church doors asking for help. And I have a bleeding heart. Like, I am a firm believer that I will help anyone that walks in the door, to the best of my ability. And so I've had a lot of conversations with my congregation, because they think that I'm helping them, immigrants and refugees. But in the past 20 months, only one family has been of Latin American descent, and I've had no refugees come in my door. It has been all European descendants who have walked in my door to get help. And so I've shared that with my congregation, and they were all shocked by it. No. And so they came out with this last year. They came out with this beautiful book of immigrant history, and from way back from when Fort Morgan was founded all the way up to present day, to try to get people who their families were originally immigrants, to get them to be able to embrace that part. But my experience talking with people whose families were immigrants, they have the mentality of, well, my family didn't get any help when they first came, so why should we help these people? And not everyone feels that way, but like that's some of the hardship that they come up against, that those walls that they come up against, is people are like, my family had to work tooth and nail when they first got here, and why should we help these people? They're immigrants, they can work just as hard as my family. And they're seeing a lot of as handouts and not